June 27th will, of course, be an interim title fight as Christian Mbilli looks to defend his WBC interim title against Sulecki. Now, of course, this fight is really interesting for the sole fact that Sulecki has a shot. You know, he has a shot. Not a big one, but he has a chance. But besides that, let's talk about Sulecki. Sulecki is 33-3, 13 wins by way of knockout, and 1 loss by way of knockout. Of course, his losses have only come to the best of the divisions. That being his first loss against Daniel Jacobs, 32-2, unanimous decision loss. And then he lost to Demetrius Andrade, unanimous decision loss, where he lost every round, so not that close of a loss. And then his latest loss was against Diego Pacheco, where he got stopped in the 6th round. So obviously, you know, it looks like Sulecki, when he fights the best of the best, it looks like he is unable to really beat them. Which obviously is probably why people are thinking, it's just going to be an easy win for Mbilli. But besides that, his latest fight was against Ali Akhmedov, 23-1, where he stopped him in the very last round. Sulecki has that, he doesn't have one-shot knockout power, but he can break you down if you let him. But besides that, obviously the reigning interim champion, that being Christian Mbilli, is 28-0, 23 wins by way of knockout. Of course, he is coming after the unanimous decision win against Sergey Deverenchenko. It was a very interesting one where he won basically all the rounds, right? You think, oh, damn, he beat Deverenchenko like that? No, Deverenchenko pulled like a bicep or something, and he was basically only had one arm throughout the entire fight. And not to be that guy, but one-arm Deverenchenko was kind of styling on him in certain little bits of the fight, which is not good for Mbilli because obviously you can't really let a dude kind of do that to you with only one arm, right? But besides that, Mbilli has always been known as a good super middleweight, but not the best, right? Not up there, right? Even though he is ranked number 2 on BoxRec. Why is that? Only because every other fighter is also untested, for the most part. Obviously, Caleb Plant, which people thought, oh yeah, he's the second best one. He got beat by Resendiz. Jamal Charlo only won 1 fight in like 4 years as super middleweight, and he's ranked number 3. Munguia just popped for PEDs, so you know, you get the point. Everyone else he's the cleanest fighter to really be like, he won it out of basically just disqualification, I guess you could say. He won it by default, basically, right? But besides that, Mbilli still is a very good fighter. He's known for his pressure, his power, his really wild style, right? When he gets you in a spot where he can throw multiple punches, he wings them, boom, boom, boom. You know, he really lets his hands go, which of course could be a bad thing for him because the second he gets to like the second half and the fighter hasn't been stopped yet, you know, he is visibly tired, right? So if it's a grueling match, a war of attrition, as people might say, Mbilli, there's a big chance that you could beat him like that. The difference is not getting broken by his power, right? But besides that, obviously, the way it's going to go is very simple. It's most likely going to be Christian Mbilli by unanimous decision for the sole fact that although Sulecki has pretty good skill, he's up there, right? You know, only the best of the best can beat him, basically. He's getting up there in age, and his style, unfortunately, although he could take a punch, that's the thing, he could take a punch that he could see, of course. Obviously he didn't see the Pacheco punch, so obviously that's the difference. But Sulecki can take a punch, and he has the stamina to go all 12 rounds. But in terms of work rate, Mbilli beats him in there. You know, Sulecki will most likely get outworked in this fight. He's going to be a good fight. He's going to be in the fight. He's going to be maybe even showing a lot of flaws in Mbilli's game, which I do believe that will happen. But Sulecki doesn't have the style to really wear down someone like Mbilli to the point where he could win a fight. Can he be in the fight? Yes. Can he win the fight? Although most likely unlikely, he has a pretty good chance. You know, he has the confidence, especially after his latest fight. He has the skills. He has the stamina. He has the durability to hang in there with Mbilli. But it's the sole fact that Mbilli will just outwork Sulecki. Throughout the fight, he will outwork him. He'll cut off the ring. He'll land the better punches. And he'll land more of them. Not to mention, Mbilli has beaten some pretty good fighters himself, obviously. People like Ronald Ellis, Carlos Gongora. Obviously, some very good fights and fighters. And in the fight against Akhmedov, the pressure of Akhmedov constantly made Sulecki go to the ropes. Not all the time, but enough times where obviously someone like Mbilli was a somewhat similar style could probably take advantage of that. But the main thing is most likely Mbilli's work rate that beats Sulecki. Give me Mbilli by 8 rounds to 4 against Massick Sulecki. I think Sulecki puts up a fight, just not enough. But anyways, who do you guys have in this fight against Mbilli and Sulecki? Obviously, a very good fight. Well, besides that, leave it in the comments below, and I hope to catch you in the next one.